welcome to another week, our final week of Walk the Plank, the podcast that takes a deep dive into the week that was and looks ahead to the upcoming events of the next week here at Perry Athletic Department. As always, joined by my co-host, Gene Winters. Thanks for being here, Gene.
Yeah, another exciting week and another continuing runs for a bunch of teams that are looking to make it down to states.
Yeah, it's been quite an exciting week. We'll wrap that up here. We'll just jump right into it. We're going to talk about some track. We'll summarize the end of our baseball season and then talk some softball. And we're joined right now by our head coach, Michelle Carino. Thanks for being here, Coach.
Yes, no problem.
Yeah, exciting time. Thanks for coming back on. This is probably a third
time,
appearance.
Yeah. You told me one time at the beginning.
Yeah, I did.
This is my third time.
I lied to you for sure. But you're here mainly because of what's happened here over the last 3 games. Our postseason run started back with a home game against the Jefferson Falcons, and that was a district semifinal matchup. We take care of business over Jefferson, move on to Edgewood. We played over at Mentor in the district final on a nice turf field over there, and took care of the Edgewood Warriors. Exciting end to that game. A little bit. They started the hardest 3 outs to get in the game of softball and baseball are the last 3, and that sort of rung true for us there. But let's just wrap that game up. The play that Roz made, is that a call that you guys have? I mean, so first and third, 1 out, tying run is at the plate, and they tried to steal second, which is common. You see that in the game of both baseball and softball in that situation. Sometimes we don't throw the ball because we don't want to give up a run, but how did that all work out?
Well, let's back it up. And the reason why that all happened in the first place was because Emma Brainerd out in right field picked up a ball that was misplayed and threw the girl out going from first to second, and that was a huge out. That was a huge play right there that set up the first and third play. Yeah. So that play doesn't even exist if we don't get that force out at second. And then we decided, Coach Shinfelvi and I decided to let Roz throw because that run at third wasn't going to be the difference maker, but we needed to get an out. We're trying to get outs at that point of the game. And Roz has a gun, and Elise did a nice job, as always, out there fielding the throwdown, and it was executed perfectly.
Took care of business, so we'll certainly trade a run for an out in that situation. They gave us 2 outs, runner on first, and Sophie was able to strike out the next batter to end the game, get us our first district championship since 2019, and therefore set us up for the next exciting game in a regional semifinal. We've been in that game a couple of times before as a program. Once in your first round here as a head coach. I think talking to Sharon Monis, former head coach Perry softball. Again, for those of you who don't know, I think a very storied program. One of our best here. I think we have a lot of really strong programs. But going back to the mid 1970s, something that we've taken a lot of pride in our softball program. It's been one of our best programs historically, and so we've Sharon coached in a regional semi game, but it never got over that hump. So we're back in it for the third time in school history against Field, Mogador Field, very good team. And let's just go through the game. I'll let Gene. He's got all kinds of notes in here to talk about.
So. Just the start of it. You guys are the home team. You go 1, 2, 3. You guys come into bat. First 2 batters only see 3 pitches, but then the next 4 are able to rattle off 4 singles. You guys get the lead. What kind of pressure does that take off of your team being able to score first?
Well, there's a stat out there. The first team that scores wins the majority of the time. So that was huge to get on the board first, to shut them down and then come back and score. When Maddie and Elise get on, we have a good chance of scoring. But they happened not to get on that inning, but we picked it up with the 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters, and that was huge for them to come through in that situation. So kudos to all them with 2 outs and scoring 2 runs. Those were all really, really big hits for all those girls.
Well, and I think that was sort of the theme of the day. Big time players make big time plays in big time situations, and 2-out hitting is so important in this game. And so we're able to get it done. We take that 2-1 lead. They answered back with 1 run, but then 0's up on the board for the next 3 innings after that, I believe. So we're into the 5th. It's still 3-1 at that point, if I'm correct. and they get a home run. That's going to happen. Very good hitter. Their best hitter hits a home run. We tie it up, or they tie it up 3-3. And we get into the top of the sixth, and they seem to be gaining that momentum. But we try to maneuver things around. We get a runner on third.
Yeah.
Let's just talk through that inning, and we'll sort of get to the exciting stuff here shortly.
Well, the runner on third, I think Morgan got the double, right?
Yes,
Morgan got the
Morgan,
double,
big
and then
double to
we
start the inning, yep.
brought in Haley Reed to run for her. She's a speedster, so
Yeah.
we try to time that, bringing her in at the right time.
Yeah.
We get a bunt down, and then Haley ends up on third with one out. And, typically we have a play ground ball go on, but we need two on, second and third, and there wasn't. So that play was not on, but I saw the ball, and maybe I didn't go back and watch it. So at the time, I saw the ball hit hard in front of home plate and bounce high. And so I was like, and my initial reaction was go, because I saw the ball hit high in the air, and I thought maybe she could beat that grounder out, and that's not what happened.
Yeah.
They made a perfect play, and so that kind of took us out of a little rally there. But Elise came up to save the day in the next inning, so she
Yeah.
bailed me out on that call.
Definitely. Well, and they had to make like you said, the perfect play. I think it's still the right call. It's an aggressive call, and in a game like that, I think we need to be aggressive, and we need to try to score to win the game. You never know what the next hitter is going to do, and they had the third baseman made a perfect throw. The catcher held on to the ball, made a nice tag. I mean, a lot of things had to happen for them to get that out there. It wasn't an automatic out for any way, shape, or form.
And just to go back real quick, the bunt that Sid was able to lay down was probably one of the better executed bunts of the season. What kind of confidence do you have in her, your all-time home run leader, to go ahead and lay down a bunt in a key situation?
I'll tell you, she's actually had a few this year, and she gets it done on the first pitch usually. It's not a struggle for her, which is outstanding when we have a power hitter that's not afraid to lay down a bunt and takes pride in it and doesn't mind doing it.
Excellent. So now, all right, so we're out. We get out of that inning. We're at the bottom of the sixth. We're heading to the top of seven. It's 3-3. Again, obviously they're excited about that big play they made defensively in the bottom of the sixth. They've got a little bit of momentum going. You can feel that tide changing a little bit, and they do tack on a run in the top of the seventh. So now it's 4-3, and it's win or go home at that point, right? You get 3 outs, their season's over. We score, we tie, we go to extra innings, or let's just talk about the bottom of the seventh inning as that home team. Sophie leads off with a single, and then I really thought, which was a huge, again, to get somebody on base right off the bat was huge. And then in Falvey's at bat, obviously she tries to bunt a couple of times, 2 strikes, so obviously she's not going to bunt any longer. But just the way she battled back from, was it 0-2 or 1-2 to 3-2, and then the walk
That was huge.
was
Yep.
huge ended well, and it obviously ended up mattering anyway, but at the time it was huge. And then Elise came up, and we'll talk to Elise, Sophie, and Morgan here momentarily, so we'll get Elise's impact on that. But what were you looking for from Elise in that at bat?
Well, let's go back, because first of all, I want to say that we have our batting order the way we do, so that our number 9 hitter is like a leadoff hitter. And I know the number 9 hitters don't always like hitting number 9, but it is a big, big deal to have somebody that can hit 9, because more times than not, they're a leadoff in an inning. And last year it was Ari Rogers who had one of the top batting averages on the team, and she was fast, and she was our 9 batter and started a lot of rallies for us last year. And this year we have Sophie, who is another one of our top hitters, batting 9th. So you don't expect a really good hitter batting 9th in a lot of cases. And sometimes it might help, because the pitcher might think they're not quite a good hitter, and they'll pitch strikes, and then they can just start an inning. And I don't know what happened that inning with the pitch, but Sophie hit a nice shot and got us started with that rally. So that's why we do that. It's a it's not our 9th batter is never our worst hitter ever, and we do that on purpose for a reason.
Makes total sense.
So then, so what your original question was? What was I expecting out of Elise?
Yeah.
Okay, what was I expecting out of Elise? Well, to be honest, Nightmares were going through my head from a couple innings prior when we had 2 on and nobody out, and I didn't bunt, and we hit into a double play. So I'm looking at Coach. I'm like, do we bunt her? Do we bunt her? Do we bunt her? And he looks at me. He shrugs his shoulders, and I'm like, nope, we're not bunting her. So thank God we didn't bunt her.
Good call.
So
Good call.
that was huge. So it could have gone another
Yeah,
direction, but it
sure.
went our way, and it was fantastic. It was a magical part of the season. Very reminiscent of the game in Florida that we were winning, and then went behind, and then had a win and a walk off, and Elise was up to bat, and Sophie was on base and ran from first and scored the winning run off of a triple that she hit in our spring training or in Florida game. So it was awesome. It was a fun moment for sure.
Oh, for sure. One of the top. This is my 25th year of being an athletic director, and one of my top 2, 3, 4 moments of all time. When you can do that in that situation, it's incredible. I thought it was going to be off the fence. I thought it was going to be a double. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but that thing got out of there in a hurry. So if you didn't see it on social media or on our Twitter stuff, it was a line drive home run, walk-off home run, 3-run home run. We win the game 6-4 after trailing 4-3, and we move on to the regional final. Elite Eight game for the first time in school history. So, I mean, all of those things play into why I say it's one of the top 3 moments that I've ever been part of or seen as an athletic director, because it's such a big stage. And for the first time in school history, we're playing in the regional final. Today, you guys leave in about an hour and a half or so. And we're playing Lakeview, Cortland Lakeview. They're 21-4. We're 21-8. What do you? I know you were at the game. They played last night. What are we expecting from Lakeview today?
They're very aggressive hitters. They like to swing at the first pitch, and they just put the ball in play. A lot of balls will go right up the middle. A lot of bouncing balls up the middle yesterday to the right side, and their spray charts look like they can hit anywhere. Almost every player can go to any field. So I think that looks to me like they go with the pitch, and they'll hit the pitch. They'll hit the ball where the pitch is pitched. So we just got to be ready to go in that aspect. Sophie's been doing a great job keeping the batters off. She's faced some really good lineups all year, and her and Roz have a really good connection, and they figure out how to keep the batters off balance. And I think that if we continue to do that, we're going to be all right today. We've been practicing how they pitch. We've been practicing it in practice for the last 3 weeks. And it's almost identical to what we practiced for the last 3 weeks. Same speed, same location. So we should be prepared to go with that pitch that she's going to pitch us. And we should be good to go today.
Okay.
You guys have a couple of common opponents that you faced throughout the year. They faced LaBrea. You guys faced them in the exhibition play, actually at Firestone. Canfield, another team. Can you draw off any comparisons from that, or those games were so early that this Lakeview team has grown and maybe developed?
Yeah, I think we're a lot better than when we played the LaBrea. Canfield was recent, but LaBrea was at Firestone at a scrimmage, and that was the second game that they played. They played NDCL before us, so I don't know which pitcher LaBrea pitched against us, so it's hard to tell. A lot of it comes down to who's on the mound and how you can compare. So I didn't actually go in and take a look at who pitched both of those games for Canfield and LaBrea against them, so I don't know what we can take up from there, really.
How fun has the season been?
Oh, we don't want it to end. I don't want it to end. I don't know about the girls, but I don't think they want it to end either.
I don't think so.
And I said at the beginning of the year, this could go one of 2 ways. We have 6 seniors. Seniors a lot of times don't want to be around. They want to be done. They want to be out. But these seniors want to win. They want to set school history. They did. They want to keep going. And the fact that I'm getting texts from my players, my senior players, on the night before, how's the pitcher, what's going to happen, shows me that they're still into the game and really want to continue this out. So it's fun. I don't want it to end. We at least we can get one more week out of this year, and hopefully that happens after tonight.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate the insight. Congratulations on, for the first time in school history, taking a team to the regional final, the Elite Eight game, and best of luck this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. Coach Carino. We'll get right to our softball players as well here, get them up here, and let's start with Elise. Elise Strahan, shortstop, obviously, as we've talked, game-winning walk-off home run here on Wednesday night down at Dalton High School. Thanks for being here, Elise.
Thanks for having me.
All right, pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, so I know we ask all of our athletes of the week, and we're going to have 5 athletes of the week this week because we have, obviously with softball having some success, we've got track to talk about here in a little bit, but we always ask what our favorite moments are. That's probably going to go down in
Yeah.
yours now, so if you might,
Yeah.
you probably have a new answer to, she's been on with us before as an athlete of the week, but I'm sure your answer would be probably that situation. So what were you looking for? What were you looking to do? Were you thinking home run? You're our all-time leader in doubles for Perry softball history. So were you looking to just put the ball in play? What was your mindset going into that at bat?
Yeah, I'm never really looking to hit a home run. I'm kind of always thinking line drive or just base hit, really, especially in that situation.
Yeah.
I mean, at least like a sac fly to right field so Sophie could advance to third
Yeah.
at the very least. But I mean, I'm not the biggest home run hitter, but when you hit line drives, like sometimes you can muscle one out every once in a while. So I guess that just kind of worked in my favor the other day.
Yeah.
Did she try to work you inside? Because it seemed like the first couple at bats, the pitcher was working you outside. You had a couple of flies out to right field. And then I think in that third at bat, maybe over to short or third, was she starting to try to work now inside to you? And, obviously, were you looking in that area?
Yeah, well, I remember at least I fouled one of them off to the right side, I think. So I think she threw me a ball in, but I fouled one off outside. I think she might have been still trying to go outside just because the first 2 I had popped up to the right fielder. So she was kind of working me out a little bit. Not really sure if she missed her spot on the last one or what, but
What was the count when you hit it out? Was it 1-2?
1-2, yeah.
1-2. So you're behind in the count, and and that thing got out of there fast. It was a line drive. If you were looking to hit a line drive, you just happened to hit it over the fence. So, it's one of those things where, you're a senior. This is your last go around. You're one of the leaders of our program, obviously. And so what do the emotions bring into it? Obviously, everybody's a little very happy, emotional, even after the game. What does it mean to sort of be able to lead your team and provide that hit that is going to take us the furthest we've ever been in school history?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a stressful situation looking back on
Yeah.
it. Definitely the season's on the line a little bit. Obviously,
yeah.
It was no outs, so there was still some hope even after me, but it was definitely a little stressful, but I didn't feel too nervous going into it. I know who I had on base in front of me, and I know that I've got great hitters behind me, so I felt like I was able to relax. Even when I was down 0-2 and then 1-2, I didn't really panic, and I just kind of like soaked in the moment and stuff like that. Like, it was
awesome.
crazy. I was so thankful to have the opportunity.
That's awesome.
How many times have you ran through that kind of situation in your mind? I'm sure it was probably 3-2 count, but how many times have you done that? And did it kind of help you prepare, like, hey, I've done this before? Maybe not in that situation, but at least practiced it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody dreams of that when they're growing up. 3-2, maybe 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. And I just felt like having that opportunity, it was meant for me. I always feel like I can do it, and I'm never too nervous stepping into the box. And just having that confidence in myself definitely allows me to stay loose and not get too hyper and like swinging at pitches that I don't want.
And how many times have you watched it on video?
I don't know, probably a couple too many.
Okay,
but-
that's all right. I would be watching it like nonstop if I did that. So I think you're certainly entitled to that. But we've got our 6 seniors. A lot of you guys, especially you, Roz, Maddie, have played together for a long time, whether for Perry or for the travel teams in the summer and things like that. What does it mean for this senior class all together? Obviously, everybody was pretty darn excited after that game, but to play together, what has this group meant to Perry softball?
Yeah, I mean, all the seniors are so special and they're so committed, but especially with us 3, like, we just have such a strong connection on the field. I look at them and I feel like we can read each other's minds. Like, we don't even need to talk. And as strong as our connection is on the field, like, we're even closer off the field. So I feel like that definitely helps us out. And I was definitely emotional rounding third, those 2, and Coach and Falvey even, who I've known, like, for my whole life.
Yeah.
Just seeing them all, and it's felt so full circle being able to celebrate it all with them.
That's awesome. Like I said, one of the top moments I've been able to be part of. It was pretty incredible.
And not to go negative, but after an emotional game, there's sometimes you can see a letdown in pros in college, high school, wherever. How was practice yesterday? How can the 6 of you seniors help make sure everybody's in the right mindset, put this game behind, and look forward to Lakeview?
Yeah, yesterday we had it was a tough practice, very intense. We kept it pretty short, but it was short and sweet, obviously. You know, we got done what we needed to get done, and we just talked at the end about how we're so, like, grateful to have the opportunity, and we're just trying to enjoy every moment and always put our best foot forward.
Awesome. Well, Elise, thank you very much for being here. Best of luck this afternoon, 5 p.m. down at Dalton High School against Cortland Lakeview in the regional final. First time the Pirates have been there. But at this point, it's house money. Go have fun. Enjoy it. Live it up, and let's go win it and get to the Final Four. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
All right. One last question. You got a little sick before the game the other day. So is that going to happen? Is that like an every game thing? Or
No, that's never happened to me before.
Maybe it needs to again. I don't know. But whatever, I will leave it at that. But just nerves of the day, whatever. Have fun tonight, and let's get a W.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Elise, for being here. Let's call up Sophie Savan. Pitcher, obviously a big hit the other night, too, to lead us off as we talked in the bottom of 7. Sophie is only a freshman. Thanks for being here, Sophie.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Okay, anytime. Obviously, we only gave up 3 runs the other night. You've been our pitcher for the majority of the year. What was your mindset going into this game, as a freshman, taking on a very good field team, ranked higher than us, all of that kind of stuff? What were you thinking about going into Wednesday's game?
Going into the game, I was just thinking that this team's going to be able to hit the ball, so I don't have to worry about, I shouldn't worry about strikeouts. I should worry about getting, more miss hits because I know my defense will get it done behind me, so.
Okay.
And does that make it easier for you as a pitcher, knowing you have one of the best defenses behind you, that you don't have to put it all on your shoulders and just, maybe get it out of an inning with only 10 pitches?
Yeah, I feel really confident with my defense behind me. So, yeah.
And for you, before we get back to the field game, what were the nerves going into Jefferson? Obviously, being a freshman, it's the first playoff game. It's a team that defeated you during the regular season. What kind of nerves were into that game, and when did you kind of feel maybe at ease and were able to throw your game?
I was a little bit nervous going into that game, just knowing what happened last time I pitched against them, but it was also my 3rd game in a row, so I was just worried about spinning the ball and trying to keep them off balance with my different pitches, and yep.
All right, so let me give you some stats, and we've already talked about Elise's, but I can highlight hers maybe. You did a really good job. You did a lot of impressive stats. Sophie, first team all CBCs, pitcher, third base. In the game against Field, you picked up strikeout 100 for the season. You went over 100 innings pitched, 102 and 2/3 of an inning. You're 12-4 on the year. Again, 100 Ks, only 21 walks, 1.98 ERA. Opponents are only hitting 241 off of you. You're hitting 439 with 6 doubles, 21 RBIs, 28 runs. You've only struck out 4 times in 82 at-bats. So pretty impressive overall numbers for a freshman. What's your history with the game of softball? Obviously, with that information I just gave you, you've been playing for a while. When did you start playing the game?
I started playing travel when I was about 9 years old.
Okay.
And I always played T-ball and coach pitch before that. So I've been playing since I was about probably 7.
Okay, awesome.
Have you always been pitcher, third base?
I have been pitcher my whole time, but this is my first year at third. I usually play second base in the outfield for travel, so this is my first time at third base.
All right.
And how has obviously this season has gone well for you, but how are you, making it look so easy? As a freshman, you kind of just plugged right in and didn't miss a beat and just went right along.
Well, for travel, we play, I play pretty competitive travel, so I was just ready going into the season, and for not striking out, I just look to put the ball in play every time and not swing for the fences or do too much. I just try to put it in play.
And did you get ready to make the next outing today against Lakeview, or let's go back to the field game? Are you watching a lot of film? Are you going through box scores? Are you looking at spray chart? How do you, form your plan of attack?
I look at the hitters and I go back in Game Changer and watch some of the at-bats to see what pitches they're like missing at, and like if they're gonna fall for like the changeup or if they swing at like the rise balls.
So what is your favorite pitch? Do you like that changeup? I saw you throwing a good bit of them the other day.
Yeah.
You're just keeping them off balance.
Yeah, I felt like it kept them off balance, and I got a lot of mishits off my changeup yesterday. And my favorite pitch is probably my screwball, because like I can most of the time I can get them to pop up with it,
Okay.
because it kind of has a internal rotation spin. So.
Okay, awesome.
And as you're going through that game against Field, fifth inning is things started to get going again. You hit a shot to the shortstop, who basically made every play for Field except for that one. You reach out in the air, you come around to score on Ari's hit. Take us through coming from second to score. What happened at home? You know, kind of. You don't have to get too detailed, but take us through what happened there in the bottom of the fifth.
The bottom of the fifth, I was on second, and I knew Ari was going to get a hit, and I knew, like, no matter what, I'm trying to get home on a single, so I was just, as soon as I saw Carino tell me to go, I was just sprinting, and I knew I was going to have to get down, so I just did, and she ended up dropping the ball, which was very good.
Very good for us. All right, and all those things, you know, sometimes a big home run, obviously, I've already mentioned your pitching performance in that game, holding a very good Field team to only 3 runs. It certainly can't be overshadowed. You know, again, when you have a 3-run walk-off home run, things can be overlooked. But like we're going to talk to Morgan about her leadoff double, you know, in that bottom, you know, of the 6th, and your pitching performance the entire day really kept us in that game. So what do you think we need to do today, 5 o'clock today at Dalton High School against Lakeview? What are you looking to accomplish? There's a certain number of runs we want to keep them under, or you're just going out there and, hey, I'm going to try to shut this team out and get the win that way?
Today I'm not going to look at, like, strikeouts. I'm going to go on the same approach I did for the Field game, like, just try to keep them off balance and get the miss hits, because, yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Now, obviously, this is a big run for the softball team, but basketball made a run as well.
Yeah.
Did any of that experience of getting to the Sweet 16, does any of that carry over? The momentum, the ease, the going through, playing in a high school tournament, does any of that translate to softball?
Yeah, I feel like some of my nerves aren't as high, because I was really nervous for basketball, because I knew I might get in a couple times. And for softball, I feel like I'm less nervous because of that. So.
Awesome. All right, Sophie, we're going to get you out of here. We know you got some stuff to do. You got to eat some lunch here and get ready to go. Before we let you go, first of all, here's your Dairy Queen certificate for being one of our Athletes of the Week. Thank you to DQ, as always, for their support of our Athlete of the Week program. Just some get-to-know-you questions here real quick. What's your favorite food?
Probably pizza.
Pizza. Any particular spot? Are you picky about your pizza, or do you have a favorite? Anywhere.
Anywhere.
Anywhere is good. Favorite subject in school?
Probably math.
Okay.
Carino left. You could give us
I know.
a
You can
answer.
say it. You can say
She's
it.
not here
You don't
anymore.
have to hide out from that. Movie or show or series, television series. There's so many different options nowadays.
My favorite movie is probably Avengers Endgame.
Okay. I like that. That's a good one. Favorite memory from Perry, and we tell our athletes all the time, it can be from youth, middle school, high school. You're only a freshman. What so far has been your favorite memory as a Pirate?
Probably winning the district champion for basketball. That was pretty fun. And now softball.
Yeah.
And then Elise's walk-off hit, probably.
You've had a lot over the last couple of months. It's been
Yeah.
good. It's been good. And you're only a freshman, so we've got some stuff going on. If you could visit anywhere in the world, money's not an object, where is Sophie heading?
Let me think. Probably Australia.
Okay, that's a good one. Haven't had that answer a lot. That's a good one. Definitely different down under. All right, Sophie Savon, pitcher, big hit the other day in the bottom of the 7th. Best of luck today as we take on Cortland Lakeview in the regional finals down at Dalton High School, 5 p.m. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Sophie Savon will be on the mound again tonight, and we'll see what happens. We'll keep everybody updated on Twitter. We'll bring up our next Athlete of the Week here for softball team. As I mentioned, she had some big hits for us the other day. Welcome to the show,
Hi.
Morgan Winters. Let's go through some of your stats. I feel bad I didn't do Elise's, but we've already said them. So Morgan's a sophomore for us. She's a pitcher as well. She plays first base when she's not pitching. Second team all CVC. You're hitting .429 with 2 doubles and 3 RBIs in the postseason, hitting about .300 for the year with 5 doubles, 3 home runs, 20 RBIs, 13 walks. You've got over 40 innings pitched, 6-2 record, 55 strikeouts to only 19 walks. Opponents are hitting .263 off you when you're on the mound. So a great sophomore year that wraps it all up in a bubble. But obviously, most important thing, we're getting wins and we're having some fun here in the postseason. So, what was your takeaway from that field game the other night?
I think our energy throughout the whole game really helped us push through those last couple innings. Because I know for me, as soon as first inning went out to first base, I knew there was no way we were losing this game just based on how we warmed up and how everyone looked. So just being able to come over that adversity,
Yeah.
I think, was really huge for all of us.
It's awesome.
And for you, does it take a little bit of pressure off of you? You come up in the first inning, you're able to get a single, you're able to get your team the first run. Does that take some pressure off of you and maybe the team?
Yeah, when I go up to bat, usually those first couple innings, I always try to, I'll just put it in play. I don't know, I have limited looks at the pitcher first inning, as
Sure.
everyone does.
Yeah.
So my goal is to just always put it in play and make the defense make a play. So being able to get that first hit and that first run across was really huge for me and our team, and it definitely takes the pressure off, I think, more of the people behind me than me. Because I like that pressure. I think I do a lot better with the pressure. So if I can take the pressure off the people behind me and in front of me, I think that's a huge thing.
Well, it's awesome. And Coach Carino's got that stat where, if the team scores first, typically they're going to win the game. It doesn't always happen that way, but statistically, would love to have that happen again tonight. So best of luck, first of all, this evening. But to go 2 for 2 in a big-time game and in one of the biggest games in Perry softball history, fantastic. Then you got to walk. So, you're on base pretty much throughout this entire game. So same mentality for tonight against Lakeview? Obviously, we've not seen them. They're not that far away from us. I passed them on my way to the track meet last night down Route 11. They're only about 35 or 40 minutes. We've not seen them a lot, though. What's your mentality coming into tonight and arguably, the biggest game in school history for softball?
Coming in as defense,
Yeah.
I just have to just stay focused with what I'm doing and not carry the pressure of the infield, but know that I have their back and they don't have to worry about making perfect throws to me, and that we've all been in the infield so long together that we can all trust each other to make these big time plays and big time moments. And offensively, I think I've put in enough work to where I don't have to, there's still nerves going to be there, obviously, but I don't have to worry about trying to manufacture a hit. If I just do what I know how to do, that's when I succeed the most.
Okay.
And I know you watched a little bit of Lakeview yesterday. What did you see from the pitcher? What can you take into today's game? Or is it going to be, when I'm on deck, I'm going to watch a little bit closer and then kind of feel your way out in that first at-bat?
During my first at-bat, I think I'll just keep a positive mindset. That's all I can really do, because every pitcher's different. Even they could be the worst or the best, and you just have to have all the confidence in yourself to know what you're supposed to do. So I watched film, and she threw a lot of outside pitches, and you could tell because the catcher moved her whole body on the outside to frame that outside corner to get more calls. So I think that I'm just going to make her throw the pitches that I want and just foul off the ones that I don't, and hopefully I can go backside with them. But I think just having confidence in myself, I do a lot of I don't know, not talking to myself, but I do a lot of internal monologue of I'm going to have a good at bat. I'm going to get a hit. I'm a good hitter. I'm enough for this moment.
Right.
All that's I don't
That's huge.
I don't let a negative thought come into my head while I'm in the box.
So if she's going outside, are you trained as hitters to just take it? I know you said you want to make her make the pitch that you want, but if she's pitching outside, are you trying to take it to to the right side of the diamond at that point, or are you just going to keep trying to foul off and let her come inside and then, then pull it down to left?
When I was watching film, a bunch of the Elyria Catholic girls tried to move up closer to the plate, and then she
Yeah.
would jam them more inside. So I
Okay.
think if I just stay where I am and just try to hit it back up the middle and not lose control of my bat head to where it's just going to be a foul ball every time, I think if I just try to focus on hitting it right back at the pitcher, I'm going to get the results that I want.
Okay.
And obviously, you've played behind Sophie this year and what she's been able to do on the mound. I know one of your favorite pitchers, Faith Hartman.
Yep.
Does she remind you of Faith at all?
Their pitching styles are a little bit similar. Like I can see it, like especially like when we get like Ohio varsity pictures, like they kind of look similar. But I think Sophie being, I think on the shorter side, I think she carries so much strength because a lot of people think, oh, pitchers have to be really tall and
Yeah.
all that. I think that she's very deceiving, like Faith was, and a lot of people don't expect her to be as good as she is.
Awesome. And then I know last year, obviously, not to harp on a negative, our season ended pretty quickly postseason-wise. We lost at home to Gilmore. Did you guys use that as a team when you started talking about our goals for this season? And, did you use that as motivation in that off season that, hey, we're not going to let that happen again? That was a horrible feeling. Has that fueled our little run here in the postseason?
I kind of did for me during, I don't know about, we didn't really talk about it at the end of the season. It was more of, like, this isn't, like, the takeaway from that game was this is not the best we've ever played. Like,
Yeah.
we definitely, if we played our own game and not worried so much about them, we could have done better. But for me, it was more personal. I was more about improving myself over the summer and being able to make those big time plays and those big time moments, knowing that Sophie was going to come up, and I knew I was going to have another pitcher to be with me.
Yeah.
So that was a super comforting feeling, even though it sucked losing like that. But I
Right.
knew we were set up pretty solid for next year, and knowing that she can pitch and Maddie Rupert that's able to go to third
Yeah.
after being at first and allowing me to be at first, and having like our communication on the corners, I think was really huge. And yeah.
Awesome. All right. So you've not been on our show before, so we're going to ask you these
Okay.
little get to know you questions. There's no grade. Don't worry.
Okay.
First of all, there's your certificate
Oh,
for
thank
being our
you.
athlete of the week. Again, DQ takes care of all of our athletes of the week here. So favorite food, Morgan.
I'm a big sub person. I like sandwiches.
Okay. Any particular? I'm a big DeBellas fan.
Jersey Mike's is
Jersey
the way to
Mike's
go.
is where to go.
Yeah.
Okay. I've not had a lot of Jersey
Oh,
Mike's, so I'll have to give it a
it's so
shot.
good.
Is it the bread? What's the secret?
It's the bread
Yeah.
ratio. Is the
Usually
best.
that's what I like the Bellas for. Favorite subject in school, Morgan?
I'm a history or an art person.
Okay. Favorite movie, television, series, show?
My favorite show is probably A Series of Unfortunate Events on Netflix. I read
Okay.
the books growing up,
Yeah.
and I'm actually rereading them right now.
Okay.
So it's always been a huge part of
Is
like
the book
me.
better than the show, or is it?
They're very
comparable?
different.
Are they?
They're
Okay.
they're very different, but they tell the same story.
Okay.
So it's cool to see it on screen after reading it.
All right. And favorite memory from Perry, and I say youth, rec, travel, middle school, high school. You're only a sophomore. What's your favorite memory so far as a Pirate?
Obviously, winning districts and being
Yeah.
able to go make school history as a sophomore and being able to lead with all these seniors that we have, I think is a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And my freshman year being the News Herald home run leader was a big
Yeah.
thing for me.
Sure.
And being able to hit and pitch at the same time has also been really huge for me.
That's awesome. And visit any place in the world. Oh, actually, any hobbies? I forgot the hobby.
I do a lot of art. I
Okay.
do a lot of like coloring books, drawing, art like that. And that's pretty much
Helps
it.
you relax a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Very relaxing. Visit any place in the world. Money's not an object. Where is Morgan heading?
I'd probably go to maybe somewhere like Africa or Spain because I
Okay.
want to do like the humanitarian stuff that they
Yeah.
do down there, and
Awesome.
I feel like that'd be really cool to be involved with.
Awesome. Morgan, thanks for being
Thank
here.
you.
Congratulations.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck tonight. Regional final at Dalton High School, 5 p.m. We take on the Cortland Lakeview. What are they?
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs. The
Yes.
Bulldogs tonight will be our opponent. So we'll transition pretty quickly here. We'll get we got a couple of track athletes and our head track coach Lane Richards to talk with. Let's start out with ladies first. Come on up, Emily Meckenbauer. She is not only a district champ, but a regional champ out at Austintown Fitch last night. So the way thanks for being here, Emily. Appreciate it. The way track works, you start out your postseason. They call it districts, so it's sort of like sectionals. I don't know why the state does this, but they do. So you start districts, you qualify for regionals. Regionals takes you to state. So district champ in the shot last week, and then you go down and disc, correct?
Yeah.
Am I correct in saying that? Both shot and disc champion last week. So, and then you throw. First day of regionals was yesterday down at Austintown Fitch. Thursday, shot was yesterday. You'll throw disc on Saturday. Congratulations! I'm happy to report regional record, OHSAA regional site record, 45 feet 10 and a half inches. So that is awesome. Was that your expectation going in, or were you just trying, hey, I'm going to go out and have my best throw? But obviously, I know being there and watching you and Coach Thomas interact afterward, he was pretty pumped up. You were both pretty excited. So just take us through that day that got you that 45-10 and that regional record.
Yeah, going into it, I've been stuck at 43 for a bit, so
Okay.
my goal was 44.
Okay.
Just to get up there today.
Yeah.
Just to, allow myself to know that I can do it.
Yeah.
So going into it, I was just looking for 44. And then right before competition, Coach Thomas gave me some, what he called PR gummies, like little fruit snacks.
Yes. I
So-
saw those. We should buy those in bulk and give them to all of our athletes based. 2 feet, it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a huge increase to almost 3 feet. If you were at 43, if you were stuck at 43 and you're throwing almost 46, I think the gummies helped. I think the little energy, whatever they had in them, fruit, whatever, it worked. So got you the regional record. You set the regional record with a first throw of like 44 something or low 45s, and then came back over top in another throw with 45-10 and a half. So so you're going to state, obviously, in the shot put. We'll see how disc goes tomorrow. What are your goals for next week in Columbus, since you know you're going in shot now? Are you looking at what other athletes are throwing at other regions, and what are you going to have to do to finish as high as possible down next week in Columbus?
Yeah, so I've been watching the top 2 girls.
Okay.
The first girl's at around 48, so that's definitely a little bit farther. But
Yeah.
the number 2 ranked girl is around 46.
Okay.
Somewhere in the low 46s. So I'm definitely just trying to catch up to her.
Okay.
Hopefully have another good day and
Yeah.
just get up to her. And
You said yesterday you beat your arch nemesis. Who was that?
Oh.
Yeah, I heard that comment. That was funny.
yeah, Riley Scarvelli.
Okay.
We've been throwing against each other since 8th grade,
Okay.
states and stuff.
Where'd she go?
Avon Lake.
Avon Lake. All right.
Yeah.
Fair.
Can you use anything that you learned last year at the middle school meet that helped you here? Obviously, I know the shot's different and things like that, but that experience, did that help you yesterday at all? Can you draw back to any comparisons, anything there?
Yeah, it was definitely it was like a good memory. It was like a memory of it. It brought back some memories and stuff from like the bigger meets and like the state meet and stuff.
This week for training, you mentioned possibly getting to 48. So what do you have to do this week to grow upon your 45 and a half to get to 46, to get to 47, and before you get down to states?
So yesterday I was watching the videos that my coach, like we would compare videos and stuff, and I saw that my form getting out of the back of the circle I was very tall, so I couldn't generate enough power, but the reverse at the end was what was allowing me to push it that far. So if I just fix it and get lower and keep my shoulders back, I think I should be able to add a little bit.
And then disc last week, I don't want to say it was a surprise, but we weren't sure going into districts. Shot is your quote unquote, I would say, better event, or one that you're more comfortable with. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So then disc, but you still end up winning a district championship. So not that anything changed, but What was the difference maker last week to really help you explode on the discus scene as well?
I think the nerves helped me out a lot. Just being able to, I don't know, feeling nervous just gives me a little bit of adrenaline that I can use in that sort of situation. So.
Have you always been a nervous person, even to volleyball and basketball as well, or is track a whole different nerves for you?
It's been in every sport, but I find that I have like more in track. So.
Okay.
It's definitely.
Well, Emily, we won't ask you the questions because you've been here several times now, but we will give you another certificate for being our athlete of the week and for being a regional champ. We wish you the best of luck tomorrow as you throw the disc, and then especially next week in Columbus down at the state meet. So thanks for being here and spending some time. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, Emily Meckenbauer, regional champ in the disc, and in the shot, and we'll throw the disc tomorrow out at Austintown Fitch. We'll bring up another regional champ. Come on up, Traxton Richards. He was able to win the regional champion district, same as Emily, also a freshman. So we've got 4 years left of this. District champ last week, pole vault, regional champ this week in pole vault. So he's qualified, obviously, for the state. We'll get your certificate out of the way, Trax. There you go.
Thank you.
Best of luck. What was your mindset going into the meet yesterday? Did you know a certain height that you needed to get? Did you feel comfortable with where you were with the rest of the competitive, the field, so to speak? What were your mindset heading into the regional meet yesterday?
My mindset was that I felt very comfortable against the competition. They're around like 13, I think, would make it to states.
Okay.
So I just knew I wanted to make like 13.6 to qualify, but then from there, my mindset was to just get a PR jump.
Awesome.
So as you're approaching that PR of over 15 yesterday, what were you building toward? I mean, was it just first time just get over as the bar kept raising? Was it the competition to help push you a little bit, or was it just your own battle to make sure that, you know what, I can do this and I can get my PR?
Yeah, it's to show myself that I could do it because I've been thinking I could get PR for a while. I just want to prove that I can get PR so I can do even better at states.
And as you go into yesterday, do you scout the competition? Do you know what other jumpers or pole vaulters may do, what numbers they're trying to target, or do you just kind of stay within yourself and kind of do your own thing?
I definitely look at the other vaulters just to like see what they're coming in with, but I don't do it too much because I try to focus on myself though.
Any other events you run? You ran 4x1 last night. That qualified out, so you'll be heading back to Fitch tomorrow to run that 4x1. So, and your brother got to qualify as well. So, we're going to talk about our regional qualifiers here in a minute, but how special is it to do with your brother knowing that you're both going to be going down to the state meet to represent the Perry Pirates next week in pole vault?
It feels very special. It's a very good feeling. We've been jumping together for a lot of years now, and I'm glad that he made it too with me.
Yeah.
Is there any advantage or disadvantage of jumping with your brother? Is there like a comfort level? Does it, put you at ease knowing that he's there with you?
I think through the practices in state, there will be more of a, just help me in practice to have him there. And then going to the state meet, he'll just be a good friend there, basically.
And this might not be fair. I asked the same thing of Madeline and Falvey last week.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to answer it, that's fine. Do you have added pressure on yourself or put pressure on yourself or the outside, Perry community putting pressure on you because of your last name? How do you come from a long line of, excellent track participants here at Perry, from your mom to your brothers. How do you stay within yourself and try to, I guess, not live up to everyone else's expectations?
It just makes me want to be even better than all my brothers and just be the best one.
Yeah, little competition was never a bad thing between the family members. So, Traxton, best of luck. Well, next week at state. So let's talk about that a little bit as we lead up to that state meet. What, just like Emily, are you looking at what other people are jumping? Where do we have to be? Obviously, you want to be on that podium. You're a freshman. I'm sure. Hey, go win it if you can. Where are you looking to be next week in order to finish as high as you'd like?
I was looking at some of the vaulters earlier today. There's obviously one 17-footer, so he'll probably win the competition.
Sure.
From the rest of the podium, it's about 5 15-footers, so it's just going to be a battle for those higher podium spots.
Okay, and hey, you never know what can happen in the state competition. Somebody gets dinged or banged up or something, or isn't on their game. We wish you nothing but the best of luck next week, whether it's just in pole vault, if we qualify in the 4x1 or any other event you're running next week. But we appreciate the time. We won't ask you the same old questions again. You've been here before as an athlete of the week, but we wish you nothing but the best next week, and go get it next Friday. Was boys pole vault Friday or Saturday?
It's the first day.
First day. So Friday, next Friday. This will be our last podcast of the year, but we'll be on social media. We'll keep everybody up to date on how everybody's doing down there. Best of luck next week.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Traxton Richards, regional champion in the pole vault, will be down at the state meet next week.
Yeah, a very exciting time. As we talked about, a lot of the kids going through districts, if it's not just a team event, but personally as well, and a lot of qualifiers last week that were able to make it down to Austintown.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and we'll call up our head track coach, Lane Richards, proud father, but proud coach as well with our showing last night down at, even back to districts, Coach, right? Being district champs for the girls.
Oh, yeah,
girls
yeah.
Side. I mean, as a team, that doesn't happen all the time. That's quite an accomplishment. So we actually last week, we went from district softball champion on Friday night to, less than 24 hours later, the girls were being crowned district champs out in Alumni Stadium, which is pretty cool to do at our own place. So let's just talk about that district meet last weekend, and we'll talk some regional and then ultimately some state stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the girls will be able to pull down a district crown, which is awesome, right? We have so many good things happening at Perry when it comes to athletics right now.
Yeah.
It is just fun to see across the board.
Yeah.
A lot of teams doing very, very well.
And as districts wrapped up last week, was there an area that maybe you were impressed with? Obviously, you're impressed with all your athletes that qualified, but was there a group or a player or an athlete that really went maybe above your expectations last week?
There was a lot of athletes that just really, really stepped up and started pushing into boundaries where we always think they could be, but they haven't quite been there yet. But I had so many athletes that stepped up through districts with a lot of new lifetime PRs all the way through the season. And it doesn't matter really my athlete. I got some very top tier athletes, and I got a bunch of other athletes. But I push PRs. We want to make you the best version of you, right? Whatever you can excel at, we want to make sure that you're getting the best, the farthest distance, the best time, the fastest you can go. So we push PRs all the way through the season. I changed my thinking, I changed my talk at the end when we get into postseason, because it is about moving on. At that point, you have to be in that top four. To get out of districts, to get out of regionals, to move to state. So all those PRs that the kids are pushing through will continue to fall, but it is about places moving forward. So.
And so we've got, we win the girls. The boys come in fourth. It wasn't a great weather day either. We had bad weather last week for districts. It's been a bad spring.
It's been a rough spring. It really has.
It has. It's been bad. But boys finish fourth. Girls win the district. We qualify 16 kids onto regionals. Those are going on right now. Obviously, we just talked to Emily and to Traxton, both regional champions. What else are we looking for out of this group of athletes? And obviously, like you said, you're just trying to advance as many kids down to state as possible. What are some of the highlights we can look forward to tomorrow for the finals? So we ran prelims last night and finals Saturday.
Ran prelims last night. So Hazel Canana was able to move on into 300 hurdles.
Okay.
So she's into the finals for tomorrow.
Yep.
The boys 4x1 ran the second fastest time in school history. They looked really good. They're sitting with the second fastest time going into finals.
Okay.
So we're looking at those guys to move on, right? And then the 4x4 boys also qualified last night with a very fast time.
That was a good race.
Yeah. I mean, so we have those guys in the finals, and then we have Audrey Morganard. She's running in the Open 8 and the Open 16. And then we have Addie Trusker and Marley Freeman both coming up in the vault.
Yep.
That's going to be a very, very tough competition.
Yeah.
But I think we'll be able to move some of those girls out too.
Yep.
back to state. They were both at state last year. Hoping we can do the same thing again. So.
Well, girl, and you've seen it, the girls on the girls side and boys too maybe, but like it's taken off on the girls side. A lot more vaulters out there
Yeah.
in the world. I know we had a smaller number last week at districts, but then you get into that regional competition and statewide competition. I think Addie's been a qualifier for 3 years in a row. She's going for 4. That's never happened for us. From a Perry perspective, Marley right in the mix as well. She's only a
Yep.
couple inches behind. But like you said, it's going to be a tough competition. And then Armani's jumping high jump as well tomorrow.
Yeah, so Armani's Armani's one of the leaders in the high jump.
Yep.
There's basically 5 guys that are over 6'2".
Okay.
So once again, we're looking to be in the top 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love them to come out with another regional champ there,
Yeah.
but the most important goal is to be in that top 4 and to be able to move.
Yeah, that district, he was a district champ for high jump for us here at Perry, and now jumping down, he'll jump Saturday with that goal to get down to that state meet. What else? Let's see, just sort of wrap up the season. I think overall, again, we battled the weather, but overall, a really great year. I think, as I said, you got to be proud as a coach for what we've been able to accomplish. Girls CVC champs, district champs, boys right in the mix as well.
Yeah, it's really been a really good year with some really good performances, even outside the weather, not being the greatest for us. We've competed in a lot of 45, 50 degree cold, rainy stuff this year, and our athletes have done very well in those kind of conditions. But it's been a great season. Yeah, the girls were CVC champs, district champs. The boys were right behind, not too far, and they just keep getting better and better as the season's moving on.
Yeah,
So
and congratulations to you as a father and a coach. Now you can say all 4 of your boys are state qualifiers in the pole vault.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing.
That's a pretty cool thing to see them both on the podium last night. We tweeted that picture out, and so now all 4 of them will be will compete for the Pirates down at that state meet as vaulters.
Yeah, it is so hard in the state of Ohio to get down at the state level. So anytime you can just be there, you want to be down there, you want to get on the podium, you want to finish as high as you can, but just getting to the state competition, I mean, it's a battle. Ohio is very, very deep when it comes to track and field. So just getting to that level is just amazing. And we have a handful of kids that are going to get down there, right? And hopefully some very high placers.
Yep.
What is it like for you as a coach going back to Columbus again, bringing maybe a new batch of athletes or some of the same ones that you've been with the last couple of years? What is it like just to be able to get back in there, know that you have a squad that can come away with some hard work?
Yeah, it's awesome, especially to get returning athletes to go back. I have a handful already that that should be able to get back that were down with me last year, but it's great to have a returning somebody that's been to state. Like Addie's been there 3 times. She knows what it's about. A lot of times, and you were talking to Trax and Emily about their competition that's at state and stuff like that. We're all looking, right? We're all looking at the competition. We're all looking who's coming down. But it's same at regionals, right? You could be the #1 vaulter or high jumper in the state of Ohio, but if you don't do it on that day, you don't get to go. Like it's a lot of pressure, and our kids tend to rise under those type of situations. So it has been phenomenal, but it's a tall ask.
Yeah.
But it's great. So when you have a returning somebody that's been there, they know what the situation is. They felt it before. They tend to be a little more cool under pressure. So.
Awesome, Coach. Well, we appreciate the time.
Just the last thing, the youth track is coming up, the event that you guys hold.
Oh, yeah.
The camp.
Youth track,
How important is that to you, to the city, the community, to have some of the young kids out experience different events to kind of get them interested into track?
It's been an awesome event. We've been doing it, I don't know, probably a decade. I'd have to go back and look for sure, but it's been around for a long time. But we've been doing it for a long time, and we get so many kids. We just want them to get excited about track and field. I mean, there's, you obviously have just the straight running and the distance and the sprints, but they're between the throws and the jumps and the long jump, the hurdles. There's so many events in track and field, and the kids, they get so excited. But they want to come out. They want to see the kids that are competing. They look up to them. But we get a big number. Most of my team currently that is still compete. Actually, my team overall, at some point they've all come through that track
Yeah.
camp. The high majority of them have. I mean,
It's our highest attended camp of any of our sports, so it's certainly a popular one.
yeah. I mean, like, I know Addie Tresker, she's going back down there. Hopefully everything goes well tomorrow, and she's got a 4 trip down there. But she's been at that track camp, technically pole vaulting, since she was like in the 4th or 5th grade.
Right.
You know, but all these kids that have come through, they've come through that track camp. It's great for the athletes to interact with the young ones, and the young ones to see the old ones. And it just gets them excited for things to come, and they just want to get better. But it's great. It's been a great thing for us.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Awesome stuff. Really appreciate the time. I know you're busy. You got some practices to head to.
Yep,
and best of luck tomorrow and then at the state meet next week.
All right. Thanks,
Appreciate
gentlemen.
it. All right, Coach Richards, head coach here for our track program, Perry High School.
Yeah, hey, exciting time for both softball and track as the athletes
Yeah.
are making that final push. Now that school's out, you can concentrate maybe a little bit more on your sport going
Yeah.
forward. And just good things to come for these this final week of the spring season. Spring season.
It's been a great year. We want to thank everybody who's tuned in throughout all 37 episodes, whether you've seen one or all 37 or somewhere in between. It was our first go around with it. We didn't know really what to expect. Are 3 people going to listen to this thing, or 300 people going to? We don't know, and I don't even. I'm just trying to highlight our athletes, and you do a great job of helping me do that. So I really appreciate the time and effort you've put into this podcast. We hope to. Our plan is to certainly continue it next year. We'll make it bigger and better. I don't know how. We'll figure some stuff out, but we're going to go at it again next year for another 37 weeks and just try to highlight as many of our athletes and our teams as we can. And speaking of that, let's talk before we close up about our baseball team. Hats off to our seniors of our baseball program. We lost, I'll say, unexpectedly. We were the higher seeded team. We had a home game against Girard, and they came out and made the plays and got the win and got out of here. And they advanced on to that district final game, but a really great run by this senior class specifically that unfortunately came to an end, as they all do at some point or another. Only one team can hold that championship trophy up at the end of the year. But hats off to Coach Platt and his program and the baseball guys for what they do, and our seniors are certainly going to be missed. But a tough loss for us the other day against Girard.
Yeah, 22-6 on the season.
Yeah.
I think there were 11 or 12 all CVC members from that baseball team. Just you played 9, but they somehow had 11 or 12 kids that were all CVC mentions or are honored. So it was a great year, and as you mentioned, just one inning where the momentum switches, and unfortunately for the boys, they just couldn't get back on the top side.
And baseball is and softball one of those things where sometimes you'll see the higher seeded in football. You can impose your will on somebody if you're that much bigger or stronger. It's hard to do that in baseball and softball, and you've got to go make the plays and see what happens. And Girard made more plays than we did that day, and so hats off to them. But we really appreciate, again, efforts of all of our spring athletes. It's been fantastic spring, other than the weather. 4th wettest in history in Cleveland, Ohio, but we made it through. We persevered, and we've had some really good success. And hats off to all of our coaches and our athletes throughout the entire season. It's been an honor to serve as the athletic director of my 15th year here at Perry, and just had a fantastic year. Looking forward to some bigger and better things for next year as well. So we're off for the summer until episode 1 of 2025-2026 school year, which we'll do sometime in August. Go Pirates!